Amongst 100 men, there may be none fit for the Adeptus Astartes. Amongst 100 space marines, there may be one fit for the Deathwatch. The Deathwatch, also known as the Long Vigil or the Long Watch, is a distinctive chapter within the Adeptus Astartes, exclusively composed of veteran space marines. This chapter serves as the chamber militant for the Ordo Xenos of the Imperial Inquisition, acting as a last resort force when the Inquisition requires firepower exceeding that available from the Astra Militarum or its own acolytes and throne agents. The galaxy is rife with numerous hostile alien civilizations that threaten humanity, including the green-skinned orcs, the monstrous Tyranids, the sadistic Drukhari, the spectral Catan, and the undying Necrons. The Deathwatch's sacred duty is to act as a bulwark against these formidable Xenos, races, and many others. They stand as the first and often sole line of defense against these alien horrors when they rise to menace mankind once again. Unlike other Space Marine chapters, the Deathwatch is not a permanent chapter of the Adeptus Astartes. Instead, it is a temporary assemblage of veteran Space Marines selected from various existing chapters who served together in the Inquisition's service for a defined period. Being selected by one's chapter to join the Long Vigil of the Deathwatch is a significant honor. Only the most elite and seasoned members of a chapter are chosen for this perilous assignment, the details of which are kept confidential by inquisitorial decree and sacred oath, even from the Marines' original chapter. Deathwatch Space Marines do not typically operate in the standard tactical formations such as squads or companies used by other Adeptus Astartes. Instead, they function as specialized small units known as kill teams, each comprising a close-knit group of experts. In cases where a Xenos threat is especially severe, multiple kill teams may be deployed to address it. However, if the threat proves too great even for the Deathwatch, the Inquisition may need to call upon an entire Space Marine chapter or several regiments of the Imperial Guard to confront the danger. We do not hate the alien because he is different, we hate the alien because he had naught but hate in his heart for us. Anonymous battle brother of the Deathwatch. The precise origins of the Deathwatch remain shrouded in mystery, but its formation is linked to the time of rebirth in the year 544 of the 32nd millennium, a period marked by the arrival of the largest orc war since the Ulanor Crusade of the Great Crusade's final years. This massive greenskin invasion, led by the enigmatic warlord known only as the Beast, posed a grave threat to Terra, the Emperor's throne world. During this crisis, known as the War of the Beast, Courland, the newly elected Lord Commander of the Imperium and the sole surviving member of the Imperial Fists, conceived the idea of deploying small, veteran Astartes kill teams. These teams were intended to target critical strategic assets of the Orcs and eventually to take down the Beast itself. Despite initial reluctance, the High Lords of Terra, recognizing the dire circumstances, approved Courland's plan. The original members of this newly established elite force were drawn from the survivors of various chapters involved in the initial assault on the Beast's capital world, Ulanor. These chapters had suffered significant losses during the invasion, and thus the Deathwatch was born from the vigil kept over their fallen comrades. Lord Commander Courland later reached an agreement with the inquisitorial representative Vinand to ensure that the Deathwatch would fall under the jurisdiction of the Inquisition, while an Astartes would serve as its chapter master, assuaging concerns from the Senatorum Imperialis. Following the War of the Beast, the Inquisition was reorganized into its first two Ordos Majoris, the Ordo Malleus and the Ordo Xenos. The Deathwatch was designated as an integral part of the newly formed Ordo Xenos, functioning as its chamber militant, much like the Grey Knights, served the demon-hunting Ordo Malleus. However, some records suggest an alternative origin, claiming that the Deathwatch was founded centuries earlier by the Apocryphal Conclave of Orphite IV. This conclave was composed of Inquisitor lords from the Ordo Xenos who anticipated a future where humanity might be overwhelmed by Xenos or enslaved by alien entities. The conclave, which convened over many years, debated fiercely among its members. Some proposed purging all alien life from the galaxy, while others suggested forming alliances with tolerable Xenos races like the craftworld Eldari. Others feared ancient godlike beings awakening or invasions from other galaxies. Despite some Puritan Inquisitor lords viewing the conclave's deliberations as a sign of defeat, a strategy was eventually agreed upon. The conclave requested a meeting with the chapter masters of the Adeptus Astartes to secure a solemn pledge. The number of chapter masters who answered the conclave's call is unknown, as such assemblies are rare. The specifics of the Inquisitor's address were not recorded, but it is clear that enough chapter masters participated to form a quorum. The conclave presented their vision of the impending Xenos threat, and the chapter masters, seasoned veterans of many campaigns, considered the proposal. By sunrise the following day, the chapter masters presented their decision to the conclave. They pledged to form a new chapter composed of veteran space marines experienced in fighting Xenos. This chapter was named the Deathwatch, tasked with guarding against the foretold doom. Today, this oath endures. The Deathwatch engages the alien menace in the darkest corners of the galaxy, wielding a combined force greater than any individual Inquisitor could muster. The Ordo Xenos and the Deathwatch collaborate closely, with the Inquisitors identifying and tracking enemies for the Deathwatch to eliminate. While neither the Deathwatch nor the Inquisition commands the other, both work in concert toward their shared goal, guided by the oaths made centuries ago. They remain vigilant, preparing for the day when the conclave's prophecies might come to pass. Since its inception in the 32nd millennium, the Deathwatch has occasionally allowed the Imperium to believe it was keeping the Xenos threat at bay. Through countless sacrifices, this clandestine order has protected the Emperor's domains. However, the crises of the Time of Ending and the Era Indomitus have revealed how precarious the Imperium's defense is against the feared alien apocalypse. He who allows the alien to live shares its crime of existence. Inquisitor Apollyon. In the 41st millennium, the Deathwatch's defenses have been severely tested and nearly pushed to the brink of collapse. For the first time, the galaxy faces an unprecedented number of threats to humanity's existence, with numerous formidable Xeno species vying to claim dominion over the stars. The galaxy is plagued by a myriad of horrors, both old and new, as mankind is battered by the protracted and intensifying conflict against chaos in the Era Indomitus. The craft world Eldari, driven by a millennia-long quest for resurgence, fight with ruthless determination, seeking to make their mark before the end. Meanwhile, their sinister Drukhari relatives are escalating their predations, raiding in unprecedented numbers to strip once thriving worlds of all sentient life, amassing ever-growing collections of slaves to satisfy their insatiable hunger for suffering. The Necron dynasties rise at a pace that exceeds the Deathwatch's capacity to contain them. Ancient, undying armies reawaken as their ancient rulers strive to impose a lifeless order on the chaos that greets their return. The Orcs, who have long been thwarted by the Deathwatch's precise strikes, are now uniting under the banner of warlord Gajkul Mag Uruk Thraka. Their great Wach threatens to engulf the galaxy in a tidal wave of violence. On the eastern fringe, the Tau Empire's tech-savvy armies push forward aggressively. Their development of the ZFR Horizon Accelerator engine enables rapid expansion across the Damocles Gulf, seizing worlds from the Imperium at an alarming rate. Farther out, the Tyranids, the extragalactic Great Devourer, drift with their countless bioships. Hive fleets Behemoth and Kraken press their remaining splinter fleets further towards the core, leaving nothing but barren rocks in their wake. A dozen other fleets encroach upon the Imperium's borders, their bioships emerging from the void in overwhelming numbers. Hive fleet Leviathan, in particular, poses a dire threat, with its splinter fleets emerging from the galactic core to menace the Segmentum Pacificus and Segmentum Solar, the heart of human civilization. Each standard year, the Deathwatch issues increasing requests for support from the wider Adeptus Astartes, invoking ancient oaths to claim tithe after tithe. However, the astropathic messages also flow in the other direction, with numerous chapters formally requesting the return of their battle brothers from the long vigil, despite the honor that such a discharge implies being tarnished. In these dire times, every Space Marine is crucial in the battle against the dark forces threatening to unravel reality itself. Whether humanity will endure into a new age remains uncertain, but the Deathwatch fights with every ounce of its strength to make that future possible. Every watch fortress is a light in the darkness, a blazing watchfire that drives back the shadows in which the Xenos lurks. Without their illumination, the Emperor's worlds would be swallowed up one by one, bound into shrouds of endless night stitched close by alien claws. Inquisitor Ishmael, excerpt from a treatise on the shield that slays. The Deathwatch stands as the Imperium's most vigilant sentinel, safeguarding its borders with unparalleled dedication. It operates from clandestine locations known as watch fortresses, which are intentionally omitted from Imperial records. For the Deathwatch, obscurity serves as an additional layer of protection, fortifying their strongholds. Each spaceborne watch fortress functions as an independent domain under the charge of a watch commander. This officer wields the authority to initiate sector-wide purges without hesitation. These decisive actions often preempt the need for protracted grand crusades, containing and eradicating many threats before the broader Imperium even becomes aware. Operating under a veil of secrecy, each Deathwatch stronghold stands as a hidden guardian over specific regions of the Imperium. Some are void fortresses dedicated to monitoring particular threats, such as Castillos Nullifact, which keeps an eye on the dormant Necron dynasties in the north of the Ultima Segmentum, or Fort Pickman, which surveys the ghoul stars and the dangers lurking beyond. Others focus on regions where alien activity has been notably high. In addition to these fortresses, there are smaller outposts known as watch stations, manned by only a few battle brothers. The largest fortresses, however, house entire watch companies, each consisting of 4 full kill teams. Regardless of their size, all these stations are heavily armed, solid bastions of order in the boundless expanse of space. Since the Great Rift split the Imperium at the dawn of the era Indomitus, some watch fortresses have been isolated in the Imperium Nihilus, while others have been engulfed by demonic incursions and psychic disturbances. Despite these challenges, the watchmasters of these fortresses continue their long vigil with relentless efficiency, making the most of every advantage. Watch stations, scattered across worlds, moons, and the void of regions like the Jericho Reach, vary greatly in appearance. Some resemble single-blocked fortified bastions with eagle-headed gargoyles overlooking desolate worlds. Others are complexes of imposing towers situated on lunar mountain ranges, or small angular void stations, equipped with Auspex arrays and seer webs. Each station serves as a base for the Deathwatch, providing a vigilant watch over its designated sector. Equipped with highly advanced sensors, watch stations constantly monitor their surroundings. These sensors scan deep into space, intercept communications, and probe the warp with powerful augers. Data collected is stored in reservoirs within the station. When a Deathwatch Space Marine departs, they are responsible for taking a copy of this data to a main watch fortress for archival. Specialized, high-speed, warp-capable vessels, known as Dark Hunters, are tasked with traveling between stations to collect and transport this crucial information. This extensive surveillance allows the Deathwatch to track activity in the Jericho Reach and beyond, where few others can. All watch stations are stocked with weaponry and supplies accessible to any Deathwatch kill team. Many also feature extensive medical, analytical, and armory facilities, though full utilization often requires the expertise of an apothecary or tech marine. Generally, watch stations are not permanently manned, except when serving as a base of operations. They can remain unmanned for solar decades without a battle brother's presence. During normal operations, the finest automated systems provided by the machine cult maintain and defend these stations. In the event of an attack, their defenses can withstand all but the most determined assaults. If breached, the stations are designed to self-destruct, erasing all traces of their secrets. The most significant defenses of a watch station, however, are its secrecy, isolation, and concealment. There are some watch stations of note that stand out among the others. Watch Station Arcus. Watch Station Arcus is a fortified void station shaped like a spiked iron pinwheel drifting at the fringes of the Arcus system. The station is compact, housing no more than a dozen Battle Brothers. Most of its interior is devoted to its extensive sensor arrays, which monitor the Arcus system and extend their gaze beyond. Uniquely, the station is regularly home to an assigned astropath, currently Varus, a highly skilled practitioner. Unfortunately, Varus has struggled for many solar months to send or receive clear messages through the warp, due to a growing shadowy presence interfering with astropathic signals and creating static in the station's augers. The Arcus system includes several planetary bodies, two of which could support life. However, these are desert worlds, with minimal water and jagged black rock formations resembling ancient fossilized beasts. The remnants of possible past intelligent life, potentially even human colonies, are now lost. The Deathwatch has long kept vigil over this system, which has been both a battleground and the site of mysterious energy phenomena. The airless third moon of Arcus II still shows the wreckage of an Orc terror ship brought down by a Deathwatch boarding action centuries ago. Recently, the system has become a focal point for Crusade forces led by General Castellix, who, unaware of the Watch Station's presence, is regrouping after heavy losses inflicted by the Tyrannid tide from the Rimward depths. Watch Station Belarius. Nestled deep within the Hadex anomaly is a remote star system consisting of a massive unnamed blue giant, a few small planetoids, and vast beautiful dust clouds. The system gleams with green and blue hues, and ice asteroids occasionally sparkle like jewels. Carved into a large, scarred asteroid is Watch Station Belarius, once thought lost and destroyed within the depths of the Hadex anomaly. Constructed by the Deathwatch millennia ago to oversee Xenos activity around the critical worlds of the former Jericho sector, Watch Station Belarius was once a prestigious posting for a Deathwatch battle brother. It offered both solitude for contemplation and proximity to the sector capital, Veronis, and key warp routes for rapid response to threats. For centuries, the station's battle brothers vigilantly monitored the sector's core worlds. However, during the fall of the Jericho sector, the station was overwhelmed by the demons pouring from the Empyrean. When the Hadex anomaly erupted, flooding the sector with warp energies, it nearly consumed Watch Station Belarius. Most of the inhabitants, both chapter serfs and battle brothers, were either mutated or killed by the intense warp energy. Those who survived were left isolated, battling the relentless demonic and warp entities that invaded the station. The final defenders fought bravely but were soon slaughtered. The last message received by Watch Station Midael, 72 Terran Standard Hours after the anomaly's arrival, was a brief transmission. "We are holding our own." Watch Station Castiel. The dead world of Castiel, located in an insignificant star system, is maintained by the Deathwatch despite its lack of strategic importance. Unlike other watch stations in the Jericho Reach, Castiel Station always has a single Deathwatch battle brother stationed there, a duty known as the Lone Watch. Each Guardian remains for a standard year before being replaced. The purpose of this lone vigil is to monitor data and safeguard something hidden deep within the fortress. The nature of this secret remains undisclosed, with those who have undertaken the Lone Watch remaining tight-lipped. Its proximity to the Hadex anomaly fuels speculation that it might house an ancient chaos artifact. But this remains unconfirmed as the Battle Brothers keep their silence on the matter. Watch Station Cressid. Recently, Watch Station Cressid was attacked by Chaos Renegade Space Marines who believed they had found a cache of powerful artifacts. With the aid of the station's automated defenses, a lone battle brother managed to repel the attackers, though the station sustained significant damage. The battle brother made repairs before resuming his vigil, but the extent of the damage was greater than initially assessed. The Renegade's assault left behind a warp entity, a being of pure malice that infiltrated the station's pathways and data core. This malign intelligence now manipulates the station's sensors and data, seeking something unknown to all but itself. As a result, all information relayed to the Deathwatch has been corrupted, making the station appear to monitor only a dead world and its surroundings with little of value detected. A kill team arriving at Cressid would initially find it to be an ordinary watch station, but prolonged exposure would reveal the demon's influence, subjecting them to nightmarish horrors. Watch Station CX-3119, established nearly 800 standard years ago to observe the Hadex anomaly, Watch Station CX-3119 was designed to be mobile to stay at the edge of the warp storm. Alongside standard Archaeotech sensors, it was equipped with advanced warp augers to detect any dangerous expansion of the anomaly. Unfortunately, these devices failed to provide adequate warning when the anomaly grew significantly, drawing the station into its grasp and cutting it off from the Deathwatch. The station was unmanned at the time, leading the Imperium to classify it as destroyed. However, Watch Station CX-3119 reappeared in the year 815 to the 41st millennium, causing considerable debate among the Chamber of Vigilance and the Inquisition. The station's new location is many light-years from its original site, fueling speculation about the nature of the anomaly. Many are eager to investigate the data collected during its time within the anomaly, while quarantine beacons have been set up to warn ships to avoid the area. Watch Station Iobel. Located deep within the storm-lashed mountains of Iobel II, Watch Station Iobel functions more as a fortress than a typical watch station. Its complex interior is carved from the mountain, housing and training multiple kill teams simultaneously. Iobel serves as the primary launch point for operations into the Hadex anomaly and features ancient devices for monitoring Xenos activity around the warp rift. Inside, the station is largely empty except for a few chapter serfs and servitors, along with 2 battle brothers tasked with remaining vigilant against any emerging threats. Initially, Iobel had no equipment for monitoring its system. Its original purpose seemed to be observing the valleys below the mountain. A network of picked feeds, though plagued by distortion from atmospheric interference, was maintained to monitor these barren landscapes. Superstitious tales of mechanical horrors in the valleys were dismissed as legends, though some battle brothers have seen distorted picts showing mechanical spiders with a faint green glow. Despite investigations, no evidence of these beings was found, leading to a reputation for ghost stories. Following the Aculus Crusade, Watch Station Iobel has undergone significant transformation. As the Hadex anomaly expanded, the station became the closest Deathwatch outpost after the loss of Midale. To accommodate increased traffic, the station was expanded into a formidable Space Marine fortress under the supervision of Tech Marines and chapter serfs. It now buzzes with activity, including kill teams preparing for missions and inquisitors from the Ordo Xenos, utilizing its facilities. The original purpose of monitoring the valleys has been largely forgotten, but something may be stirring deep beneath the planet's surface. The Iron Bastion, situated in the heart of the Dark Pattern, is a space-based watch station integrated into a massive planetoid within the Kaival Belt. It has studied the Dark Pattern for centuries and serves as the primary base of operations for the Dead Cabal within the Jericho Reach. The station's advanced auger arrays and cogitation engines are the most powerful in the Reach, capable of detailed analysis of distant worlds. It also collates and processes reports from dead stations regarding the Dark Pattern. Unlike many watch stations, the Iron Bastion is always manned by at least half a dozen individuals, with a rotating roster investigating reports of strange phenomena across the Jericho Reach. A deeper, confidential mission known only to select members involves guarding, studying, and analyzing the enigmatic Joval Hedron, an artifact of immense power discovered 2 centuries ago. Despite numerous attempts, the Hedron's secrets remain elusive, and it is believed to be highly dangerous. During an investigation, Brother Paragon of the Crimson Fists vanished from a secure chamber while analyzing the Hedron. The only record of the incident is a burst of energy from the cube before all picked recorders failed. When the chamber was checked, the Hedron was untouched and Paragon was missing. Since then, further study of the artifact has been conducted remotely to prevent further loss of life. Watch Station Klaha. For many Terran years, Watch Station Klaha has faced persistent attacks from factions of the Dark Mechanicum. These renegades, seeking to extract ores and minerals for their war machines, have established their primary base atop the highly active volcano they call Mount Pride. and recently set up orbital stations above the planet. Despite their presence, the Dark Mechanicum has avoided drawing attention to themselves, unaware that Klaha's advanced sensors have been tracking their activities and recording their movements throughout the Klaha system. While the station has monitored many of their actions, it has yet to detect a major undertaking due to the Dark Acolyte's shielding, a deep drilling project aimed at tapping into the planet's core energy. Although the station has observed fluctuations in the planet's electromagnetic field and increased seismic activity, no direct link between these phenomena has been established. Additionally, the auger arrays have begun picking up massive energy and mass movements on the far side of the desolate world, consistent with the migration patterns of life forms or Xenos. Given that no Xenos activity has been recorded in the Klaha system for nearly 3 centuries, these developments have sparked significant debate among the Battle Brothers stationed there. Watch Station Midael, located on a dead world covered in metallic grey dust near the spinward edge of the chaos-held Kauran worlds, consists of a solitary armoured tower rising from a rocky spur above a dust plateau. For over 3 standard decades, Watch Fortress Eriok has not heard from this station. In reality, it is a desolate place, home to a lone Deathwatch battle brother who has been isolated by the encroaching influence of the Kauran stars for more than 30 Terran years. He remains stationed there, guarding a secret held within the deepest chamber of the tower, awaiting relief that has never arrived. Over time, the station's servitors have failed, and the tower's systems have deteriorated. Despite periodic attempts by enemy forces to claim it, they have been unsuccessful in overcoming the lone Deathwatch brother. Outside, the relentless wind howls and the ominous light of the Hadex anomaly grows ever larger in the cold skies. Watch Station Eartha. Watch Station Eartha is a stronghold under siege on a semi-arid planet within one of the main war zones of the Canis Salient. The Tau expansionists believe Eartha holds significant resources of fuel and raw materials and have earmarked it for exploitation and colonization. The Tau claim the largely uninhabited planet, but this claim is contested by the Watch Station and its defenders. The station is a sprawling and heavily fortified compound, hidden in the labyrinthine ravines of the Beric Mountains. In a rare example of collaboration between the Aculus Crusade forces and the Deathwatch, Watch Station Eartha has become pivotal in efforts to deny the planet to the Tau. The station is garrisoned by 20 Deathwatch battle brothers under Watch Commander Codicie Kurita and 50 allied Space Marines from the Storm Wardens chapter. They use the station as a base for launching devastating raids against the Tau, which have significantly hindered the Tau's attempts to expand. Currently, both sides await reinforcements, and the ultimate fate of Eartha remains uncertain. Watch Station Feeders. Watch Station Feeders is not a typical watch station, but rather an ancient architect spacecraft that defies comparison with any known starship or void station in Imperial records. The Adeptus Mechanicus remains silent about its origins. Feeders is largely automated, with its machine spirits displaying sophistication comparable to the most venerable Titans. The vessel operates through complex logic paths, converting augury data into plotted courses, and can even navigate short distances through the warp without a navigator. Though small compared to warp-capable craft used by the Imperial Navy or Adeptus Astartes, Feeders supports 10 Astartes and contains a modest armory and supply vault for extended travel. It also has a launch bay with a single Stormraven gunship and a drop pod bay with 1 drop pod, allowing precise orbital deployment. Its compact size and stealthy design enable it to transport its kill team while remaining largely unnoticed. Watch Station Scapula. Scapula is a Tau-occupied dead world of minimal strategic value, but its rare minerals are crucial for various Imperial manufacturing processes. Consequently, the Aculus Crusade has marked it for reclamation. Despite multiple attempts by the Tau to breach the watch station, it has thus far resisted. The station's sensors continue to provide critical data about Scapula, including details on human nomads who previously worked the mines under Imperial rule. The Tau have largely ignored these nomads, viewing them as negligible threats. Recently, however, the Tower have experienced increasing losses of warriors on Scapula, with fire warriors and pathfinders disappearing under mysterious circumstances. The Tau Command keeps this issue confidential, discussing it only with the ethereal in charge. Most disappearances have occurred in isolated locations when soldiers were alone or separated from their units. All patrols are advised to be particularly vigilant and to watch for any unusual activity. Additionally, the watch station's sensors have detected intense seismic activity along Scapula's equatorial band, including brief but powerful bursts of radiation. No Tau forces have been seen near these readings. Joining the Deathwatch is regarded as a tremendous honor among the Space Marines, as it signifies a status above that of their peers, the elite among the elite. Just as the Adeptus Astartes are selected from the most promising warriors of humanity, the Deathwatch itself is composed of only the most skilled and deadly of battle brothers who have already attained veteran status. This makes the Deathwatch a uniquely formidable force. Organized into small elite companies similar to those of a Space Marine chapter, the Deathwatch differs in that its members are not drawn from a single homeworld or from planets known for their genetic quality. Instead, its ranks are filled by Space Marines from various chapters that have pledged a portion of their forces to the ongoing war against Xenos. Each member is a proven hero, having already demonstrated exceptional prowess as an alien hunter before joining the Deathwatch. A battle brother who consistently excels in combat against Xenos will attract the attention of his chapter's officers. Typically, his company captain will endorse his combat skills, his apothecary will confirm his physical capabilities, and his chaplain will evaluate his character and spiritual integrity. If all three officers agree, the chapter master will be consulted, and upon his approval, the battle brother's future in the Deathwatch is secured. Though he may wait for several Terran years before being called to the Long Vigil, he will ultimately become one of the Imperium's most specialized defenders, dedicating every moment to the eradication of the Xenos threat to humanity. Most chapters hold a ceremony to mark the departure of a battle brother chosen for the Deathwatch. The Ultramarines, for instance, gather a significant portion of their company's strength to bid farewell to their comrade as he boards the black-hulled Thunderhawk, bound for his new role. The Dark Angels, however, send their departing brother away under an oath of secrecy, reminding him to keep hidden truths undisclosed. Regardless of the chapter, the occasion is somber, with the knowledge that the battle brother will likely never return, his fate to become a martyr in the war against the alien. To honor this probable outcome, the Initiate's power armor is painted jet black. Upon arriving at his new watch fortress, the Deathwatch recruit begins a rigorous program of physical and mental conditioning designed to maximize his effectiveness. Despite previous encounters with numerous alien species, he will face thousands more in the galaxy's dark corners. Through an intense regimen of hypno-indoctrination, the recruit's subconscious is filled with every detail the Deathwatch has learned about its Xenos adversaries. Thus, when confronted with an unfamiliar alien, its weaknesses and vulnerabilities will immediately come to mind. After completing his training, the Space Marine's previous rank is set aside, and he is assigned to a kill team. These teams consist of battle brothers from up to 10 different chapters, each with distinct cultures, specialties, and warfare insights. This diversity can lead to friction and rivalry, but all members share core ideals and vows to defend humanity at all costs. In the crucible of battle, kill teams form strong bonds, learning to respect and depend on each other's diverse methods and abilities. By the time they engage in combat, the team has become a highly effective unit, stronger together than apart. Just as a swordsmith forges a blade through many layers of folding and tempering, a Deathwatch kill team is forged into a potent weapon capable of toppling alien empires with a single, well-aimed strike. As the Chamber Militant of the Order Xenos, the Deathwatch is charged with studying and, if necessary, exterminating dangerous, intelligent Xeno species encountered by the Imperium. They also monitor alien races and acquire their technology for the Adeptus Mechanicus to study. Occasionally, the Deathwatch must use alien weapons against their creators, though this is done cautiously. They remain vigilant for sabotage and assess the safety of using Xenos technology, as seen with the Catan phase sword, recovered from a Necron tomb world and integrated into the Imperium's arsenal. The Adeptus Astartes chapters are bound by an ancient oath to provide troops to the Deathwatch. However, some chapters, particularly those with radical views such as the Dark Angels or Black Templars, may find this duty challenging, especially if they perceive the Inquisition as corrupt or as undermining their autonomy. While no chapter would fail to meet its obligations, chapters like the Iron Hands, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Blood Angels have a strained relationship with the Inquisition. Radical Ordo Xenos Inquisitors sometimes find their efforts to secure Deathwatch troops are facilitated by assisting these chapters against puritanical Ordo Hereticus Inquisitors. Conversely, chapters such as the Ultramarines, Crimson Fists, and Imperial Fists have a closer relationship with the Inquisition and the Ordo Xenos. Members from these chapters are more frequently and in greater numbers inducted into the Deathwatch, although kill teams can be composed of Astartes from various chapters as the Ordo Xenos deploys its resources across the galaxy. Despite their varied philosophies, cultures, and customs, Deathwatch kill team members are united by their loyalty to the Emperor and their fervent hatred of Xenos enemies. A Space Marine remains with the Deathwatch until the Inquisitor or Watchmaster determines that his tasks are complete, allowing him to return to his chapter with honor. The Deathwatch operates with a sparse network of bases scattered across the galaxy, with their full extent known only to a few, including neither their commanders nor the Inquisition. Amid the pervasive darkness of the era Indomitus, each base serves as a blazing beacon against the Xenos threat, and as a node in a protective shield that spans the Imperium. Every Deathwatch fortress and station forms a vigilant network, ever alert to the presence of alien life. To meet their needs, the Deathwatch maintains numerous assets in each segmentum. Their primary installations are watch fortresses, most of which are spaceborne rather than planetary. These locations are omitted from Imperial records, and many are positioned above inhabited human worlds, which remain unaware of their silent protectors. The largest of these watch fortresses is Thalassa Prime. Rather than a single station, Thalassa Prime is an entire world bestowed in perpetuity to the Deathwatch by the Ultramarines chapter from the realm of Ultramar in the Segmentum Ultima. It was once the main training site for the Deathwatch, but the emergence of the Great Rift has drastically reduced the flow of battle brothers from the Imperium Nihilus regions beyond the Astronomicon's light. There are rumors that Prefects Venatoris and Fort Excalibris now handle this training role within the Imperium Nihilus. While all Deathwatch outposts have training facilities, many serve primarily as listening posts or hubs for rearming and coordination. Some watch fortresses are relatively new, established in recent centuries to address specific threats, while others are ancient, their sanctums bellicose adorned with lists of countless actions that saved billions of lives from Xenos or from Imperial purges following suspected contamination. Each watch fortress is an independent domain, guarding a specific sector of the Emperor's realm. Although each may oversee several outlying watch stations, many of these smaller bases operate with a high degree of autonomy. The organizational structure of most watch fortresses is consistent, with ultimate authority resting with a watch commander, typically a watchmaster, or in rarer instances, a highly experienced watch captain who has served with the Deathwatch for Terran centuries. Supporting the watch commander are members of his strategium, including Deathwatch librarians, apothecaries, chaplains, and dreadnoughts. His Deathwatch tech marines manage the armory, while watch captains and lieutenants provide strategic and tactical advice and lead 4 largely independent kill teams that together make up one watch company. Specialist officers in the Deathwatch perform duties similar to those they held in their previous chapters. Tech Marines oversee vehicles and war gear, manage servitors, and assess Xenos technology, while apothecaries, librarians, and chaplains ensure the purity and vigilance of the watch fortress against alien taint, biological, empiric, or spiritual. Each watch company, typically numbering 5 within a watch fortress, is led by a watch captain and 2 lieutenants. They are marked by unique black and red insignia, often displayed on their armor. Most watch companies are smaller than the Codex Astartes standards, usually consisting of no more than 50 Space Marines split into 4 or 5 kill teams. Despite their size, these Deathwatch veterans, with their martial skill, xenophobic zeal and specialized weaponry, are as formidable as any full Space Marine company. While the overarching structure of a watch fortress remains sacred, the kill teams under a watch captain are highly adaptable, able to quickly shift from one mission to another. In response to clear threats, some kill teams might specialize in combating specific types of Xenos, leading to reorganization and movement between teams. Although kill teams rarely remain together for long periods, some, like Kill Team Cassius, have formed enduring bonds of brotherhood that make them some of the chapter's most valued assets. No two kill teams are identical. One might consist of veterans in a mix of tactical dreadnought and Mark VIII, errant power armor, while another might feature warriors sprinting to new positions, riding assault bikes or using jump packs. Even with similar equipment, each battle brother brings a unique set of skills and experiences to the mission. Deploying a Deathwatch kill team unleashes a large group of transhuman warriors, each a hero from their respective chapter, combining their specialist expertise. Few enemies survive their assault. For those in the Imperium aware of their presence, it signals a severe Xenos threat and an expression of gratitude to the Emperor for their vigilance. To authorize a full strike force or watch company indicates a dire alien danger to humanity. Typically, a kill team is commanded by a Deathwatch veteran with the rank of sergeant, a title usually earned in their parent chapter. The team takes its name from this sergeant, but if a member of the Watch Fortress Command staff leads the team, the name is changed to reflect the leader's rank, e.g. Kill Team Gallius if led by Deathwatch, Epistolary Gallius. Kill teams can be tailored to specific needs by their leader. When facing an unknown enemy, firstborn kill teams often use Aquila tactics, a versatile offensive pattern, or serve as a Fortis kill team, the most adaptable type used in the era Indomitus. How many have given their lives in service to humanity, their names never to be recorded, their deeds never to be celebrated? The Deathwatch seek not laurels. It is sufficient that the Emperor knows our names and our deeds. Brother Sergeant Gallis, 3 days before his death at the claws of an Uberlord of the Nebulax diaspora. The ancient vows undertaken by the Adeptus Astartes ensure that their warriors will be assigned to the Deathwatch. This assignment provides invaluable soldiers for kill teams deployed across the galaxy. However, the reasons individual chapters select certain Space Marines for the Deathwatch can differ. When a chapter receives the call to send battle brothers to the Deathwatch, they typically choose their most exceptional warriors. The sacred oaths to support the Inquisition and the Deathwatch are taken with the utmost seriousness, and any successes a Space Marine achieves while serving the Deathwatch reflect positively on their chapter. These esteemed warriors, eager for glory and honor, strive to excel in every mission they undertake. They are enthusiastic about joining the Deathwatch and serving the Emperor in this capacity. It is rare, but some battle brothers come to consider the Deathwatch their true home. While they continue to honor their original chapter and its traditions, they become increasingly attached to the Deathwatch's ways. Those who remain permanently at a watch station often grapple with feelings of abandonment and guilt, existing neither fully within their chapter nor entirely within the Deathwatch, drawing solace only from their fellow kill team members. For some chapters, serving in the Deathwatch can be a form of atonement for a transgression against the chapter or its doctrines. The nature of the offense varies. For chapters strictly adhering to the Codex Astartes, even minor deviations can lead to such sanctions, while other chapters may impose these measures for more severe infractions. A Space Marine deemed inadequate by his superiors bears a shadow that he must dispel. Doubts about his capabilities lead to increased scrutiny of both him and his comrades. These doubts persist until he can redeem himself, often through imperial crusades, quests, or other heroic endeavors. Serving in the Deathwatch can also serve as a form of extended atonement. If a battle brother is sent to the Deathwatch for atonement, this is typically known only to the chapter's leadership and the Marine himself. Given the perilous nature of Deathwatch service, it is considered a fitting way to atone in service to the Emperor. The Space Marine will keep his past offences secret from his new squad mates, as their awareness could lead to distrust. Among the illustrious Space Marine chapters, it is rare for warriors to attain the status of veteran, as many fall in battle after only a few standard years or solar decades of fighting overwhelming odds. Unlike the Astra Militarum or Imperial Navy, where surviving initial combat or earning a campaign ribbon might confer veteran status, a Space Marine earns this title only through significant achievements and enduring years of fierce conflict and hard-won victories. The Deathwatch is no exception. Battle brothers who serve their tenure fighting the Emperor's Xenos enemies are expected to be fulfilling their duty rather than achieving veteran status simply by surviving. For Space Marines, survival alone is insufficient. As the Emperor's chosen, they are expected to excel in battle, to have their enemies fall before their weapons, and to bring honor to their chapter. To be acknowledged as a veteran within the Deathwatch, a battle brother must accomplish notable and heroic deeds, distinguishing himself as a true instrument of war, surpassing even the inherent abilities of the Adeptus Astartes. While all Astartes are dedicated to serving the Emperor and combating the Imperium's foes, a Space Marine's position within the chain of command can become ambiguous after years of service in the Deathwatch. For instance, while stationed in the Jericho Reach, a battle brother may serve under the Watch Commander and the Chamber Vigilant of Watch Fortress Arioch, potentially influenced by the Inquisitors of the Ordo Xenos. Simultaneously, he remains loyal to his original chapter and its chapter master, retaining any previous rank, even though he no longer answers to his former company or squad leaders. As time passes, these connections may evolve, either strengthening or diminishing, and his allegiance might shift to encompass his kill team members, while his duty to the Emperor and the Imperium broadens beyond the specific teachings of his chapter. This shift is especially pronounced when he becomes deeply involved with the doctrines and experiences shared with his kill team through numerous intense battles. Though rare, it is possible that after many standard years, a veteran battle brother's loyalty may narrow to identify more with the Deathwatch than his original chapter. While he will always maintain a profound connection to his chapter, prolonged service and the secrets he learns about the Imperium's enemies can make him see himself primarily as part of his kill team. Master and fellow chapter members may understand and respect his choice to prioritize the Deathwatch over his chapter if they are aware of the Deathwatch's mission, although it is often perceived as divided loyalty. In either case, the chain of command can blur as the influence of his chapter diminishes and he focuses more on the Deathwatch's enemies. Deathwatch members often encounter threats and adversaries not faced by their chapter brethren. While a battle brother within his chapter may experience bloody combat alongside his company, supported by various vehicles and heavy weapons, a Deathwatch kill team typically operates with fewer resources and faces more dangerous and exotic threats alone. In just a few years of service, a Deathwatch battle brother might confront and overcome numerous Xenos and heretic foes, often engaging in close-quarters combat with only his kill team for support. It is no surprise that many who serve in the Deathwatch rise to the rank of veteran as their experiences and missions broaden their understanding of the Imperium's ongoing struggle and its hidden enemies. Over time, their enhanced skills and knowledge set them apart from their original chapters, making them uniquely suited to combating Xenos threats. A Deathwatch veteran is not just someone who has spent years in service or formed bonds with brothers from other chapters, but someone who has adapted to the Deathwatch's specific missions and adversaries. While a battle brother remains deeply loyal to his chapter and chapter master, these loyalties are augmented by a heightened dedication to the Imperium, driven by the orders of his watch commander and his own focus. Not all battle brothers are suited for extended service with the Deathwatch. Many complete their duty and return to their chapter. However, those who adapt to the Deathwatch's operations and balance their chapter's teachings with the independence required of a kill team become highly valued. The The Deathwatch cultivates these battle brothers, developing their skills to tackle the most hazardous missions successfully. Chapter Masters also honor those who excel in the Deathwatch, acknowledging their required skills. Over time, kill team members develop a profound reliance on one another, a bond evident even in new recruits, but becoming stronger in veterans. Missions against formidable foes in the Jericho Reach, often without Imperial support for extended periods, forge these units into powerful autonomous combatants. Despite these conditions, the Deathwatch can rely on its veteran battle brothers to uphold their duties to the Chapter and the Emperor, displaying skills and resolve that mark them as exceptional fighters capable of overcoming any challenge. Veterans are distinctive among the Adeptus Astartes for being one of the few groups where true alliances can form between battle brothers from different chapters. Space Marines who may initially have little affection for one another and work together only begrudgingly can, over time, develop bonds within a kill team that may surpass those they have with their own chapter. In the Deathwatch, battle brothers lead lives of intense isolation punctuated by fierce combat. Most arrive with knowledge limited to their own kind, having only encountered other Space Marines in battle or from distant half-remembered experiences before their initiation. They are suddenly immersed in a diverse array of opinions, cultures, and appearances, often contrasting sharply with what they have learned from their chapter's battle brothers. Even though all members of a kill team share a transhuman physiology, a duty to the Emperor, and faith in the Imperium, minor differences can still be disconcerting. Combat doctrine and tactical principles being central to every Space Marine's identity often lead to friction. Some battle brothers may never fully embrace their kill team comrades and might return to their chapters with tales of the other Space Marines' peculiar practices. However, those who become Deathwatch veterans invariably learn to adapt to these differences to function effectively as a team. This adaptation is a double-edged sword. While Deathwatch veterans gain valuable experience, they may also grow apart from their original chapter. They accept the honor of secondment with little complaint, despite leaving behind the camaraderie and position they had within their own chapter. The honor of serving in the Deathwatch is typically reserved for proven Space Marines, even though it means losing a valuable asset to the Deathwatch for many years. Leaving one's chapter can be a heavy burden, despite the honor and recognition of proving oneself alongside other Adeptus Astartes within the Deathwatch. This division between the Deathwatch and the chapters can produce a variety of battle brothers, each altered in unique ways. Some might arrive eager to demonstrate the superiority of their chapter's traditions, while others may remain aloof and reserved, fulfilling their duty with a sense of honor but little more. Regardless, every battle brother must integrate into this new brotherhood, finding his role within the Deathwatch and fulfilling his duty to both the Emperor and the Imperium. A kill team's strength lies in the bonds forged among its members. When a battle brother joins the Deathwatch with distrust or tries to impose his own ideals, the kill team suffers. Yet even the least cohesive Deathwatch kill teams are formidable compared to the most experienced Astra Militarum squads or elite Tempestus scions. For many battle brothers, their time in the Deathwatch will be marked by honor and duty, even if they never fully bridge the divides within their kill team. Deathwatch veterans are typically those who have embraced or turned these differences to their advantage, evolving to meet the Deathwatch's challenges and enhancing their kill team beyond its individual components. The recruitment processes for the Adeptus Astartes vary as widely as the iconography on their power armor. Some chapters recruit exclusively from their homeworld, while others draw initiates from a wide range of planets within their dominion. Regardless of the recruitment source, each new Space Marine undergoes rigorous trials to become one of the Emperor's finest. These trials forge the bonds of brotherhood among the Space Marines. The beliefs and battle doctrines learned during training shape a battle brother's perspective on duty to the Imperium and chapter. These ingrained beliefs can cause conflict with other Imperial servants who hold different views. Overcoming these challenges is essential for all Deathwatch members to fulfill their oaths. When a chapter sends a brother to the Deathwatch, it can be a significant cultural shift. Despite expectations for obedience, a battle brother is more than just a warrior. His training and beliefs are deeply embedded, making the transition to the Deathwatch's role challenging, though an Astartes would never admit to it. Adjusting to these new strategies, especially after decades or even centuries of combat, is no easy task. The Adeptus Astartes have a long history of distrust and conflict, even among the loyalist chapters. For over 10,000 standard years, Space Marines have fought both alongside and against each other, with the Great Crusade being a notable period of rivalry and competition for glory. These historical feuds continue today, and they can create tensions within a Deathwatch kill team composed of members from rival chapters.